The year was 2874. Earth was gone, not destroyed, but taken. The Xeltrax Dominion, a ruthless alien empire, had invaded the Sol system with overwhelming force. Their warships, each the size of a city, darkened the skies. Their ground troops, bioengineered nightmares, tore through human defenses like paper. Humanity fought. Oh, they fought harder than any species the Xeltrax had ever encountered. Every street, every building, every inch of soil was drenched in blood, human and alien alike. But in the end, sheer numbers won. The Xeltrax occupied Earth, forcing the survivors into slavery. The rest of humanity scattered across the stars, refugees in a cold and uncaring galaxy. Most species would have surrendered. Most species would have accepted extinction. Humans, no. 2. The resistance rises 50 years later. The galaxy had almost forgotten about Earth. The Xeltrax had crushed many civilizations before, and the pattern was always the same: conquer, enslave, and move on. The remaining humans were scattered across 1,000 worlds, working as mercenaries, scavengers, or simple laborers. But something strange was happening. Xeltrax warships began disappearing. Important generals were assassinated in their own chambers. Whole supply depots were reduced to ash overnight. The Dominion dismissed it at first. Just pirates, they thought. Just criminals. They were wrong. In the dark corners of the galaxy, the resistance was growing. Humans, no matter where they had fled, never forgot. They never stopped fighting. They never stopped planning. Led by Commander Elias Carter, a former soldier turned legend, the resistance had turned humanity's greatest weakness, being scattered, into its greatest strength. They moved like ghosts. They struck and vanished. They hacked enemy networks, turned Xeltrax weapons against them, and used guerrilla tactics so brutal that entire Xeltrax battalions abandoned their posts out of fear. And slowly, the tide began to turn. 3. The Battle of Vortiga Prime. The first true victory came on Vortiga Prime, a critical Xeltrax supply world. The Resistance had a bold plan: steal Xeltrax, Dreadnought, and Termin's weapons on the enemy. It was suicide, which meant it was the perfect plan for humans. Disguised as laborers, a team of human saboteurs infiltrated the planet's main shipyard. They hijacked the security systems, disabled the planetary defenses, and in one night of fire and chaos, took control of the Xeltrax Dreadnought Oblivion's Wrath. What happened next was something the galaxy had never seen before. The Dreadnought, now under human control, unleashed destruction on the Xeltrax fleet orbiting the planet. Massive energy cannons tore through enemy warships. Planetary defense turrets, now hacked by human engineers, turned against their own forces. By the time the battle was over, the Resistance had not only stolen a warship, they had liberated an entire planet, and the galaxy took notice. 4. A message to the galaxy. The Xeltrax tried to silence the news, but it was impossible. The Resistance broadcasted a message across every known system. This is Commander Elias Carter of the Human Resistance. We were told to die. We were told to kneel. We refused. We fight not just for humanity, but for every species crushed under the boot of tyranny. The Xeltrax think they rule the galaxy. Let's prove them wrong. The message ignited a fire. Species that had long suffered under Xeltrax rule began to rise up. Rebel cells appeared on a dozen worlds. Trade routes, once safe for the Dominion, became war zones. And for the first time in centuries, the Xeltrax felt something new: fear. 5. The final stand. The Xeltrax could not allow this rebellion to continue. They gathered their largest fleet, over 1,000 warships, and set course for the Resistance's hidden base on the abandoned planet of Tarsus 9. They expected an easy victory. They were wrong. As soon as the Xeltrax fleet arrived, they were met with something they had never faced before: human ingenuity at its peak. The Resistance had turned Tarsus 9 into a death trap. Orbital mines detonated, wiping out dozens of ships instantly. Automated weapons, hidden beneath the surface, rained down plasma fire. The stolen Dreadnought Oblivion's Wrath led the charge, cutting through the Xeltrax lines like a blade. But the battle was not without cost. One by one, human ships fell. Their fighters, their bombers, even their dreadnoughts, all torn apart in the chaos of war. And yet, they would not stop. Ships burning, weapons failing, allies dying, humanity kept fighting. Every time the Xeltrax thought they had won, another human warship would ram into their fleet in a last desperate attack. When the smoke cleared, only a handful of human ships remained. And yet, so did the resistance. 6. The unbreakable species. The Xeltrax dominion was finished. Their greatest fleet was destroyed. Their enemies were rising, and at the heart of it all was the one species that could never break. Humans. The galaxy would remember this battle not just as the fall of the Xeltrax, but as the moment humanity proved a simple truth. They were too stubborn to die, and they never would. The end.